whichever part of the world you are joining us from. The Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade is proud to host this global celebration of World MSME Day 2021. We have more than 35 speakers joining us today from more than 25 countries. We are really honored and grateful to all of you for accepting our invitation and joining us today. On behalf of GCPIT, I welcome you all to this wonderful evening. I'm Aparna G. Kumar, the Global Co-Chairperson of GCPIT and your host for this evening. To quote Henry Ford, coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. And we believe this is just a beginning, and this will be a beautiful lifelong relationship between all of us, and we will be working together for supporting SMEs across the globe and thereby creating a sustainable change in the society. As we all know, the United Nations General Assembly designated 27th June as Micro, Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises Day in order to recognize the contribution that MSMEs have made to the implementation of Agenda 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals. Micro, small and medium-sized enterprises or MSMEs account for 90% of businesses, 60 to 70% of employment and 50% of GDP worldwide. Today, on MSME Day 2021, almost 18 months after the onset of COVID-19 crisis, most countries are still grappling with the pandemic and its severe health and socio-economic impacts, including lockdowns and the need to support those who have lost their jobs and livelihoods. Though at first it was a health crisis, it had unprecedented and serious impacts on all of the aspects of how people communicate, work, produce, trade, consume, and live. The economic ramifications of the pandemic quickly became apparent, and SMEs have been on the front lines. With workers and customers staying indoors and supply chains tested by shutdowns, the small companies that provide 70% of the jobs in countries around the world and about half of economic activity have been put under stress. A COVID-19 business impact survey done by ITC clearly tells us how the pandemic has affected the small and medium enterprises. Analysis of this data shows that the pandemic has strongly affected 55% of their respondents. Nearly 2/3 of micro and small firms reported that the crisis strongly affected their business operations compared with about 40% of large companies. 1/5 of SMEs said that they risked shutting down permanently within 3 months. Service companies have been the hardest hit around the world. In accommodation and food services, for instance, 76% of the surveyed firms said that partial and full lockdown strongly affected their business operations. 64 of women-led firms declared that the business operations were strongly affected, and youth-led enterprises reported a high risk of closing. About 26% of youth-led firms said they risked shutting down permanently within 3 months, compared to 18% for non-youth-led businesses. Many companies that are not registered with national authorities are small and have little cash on hand to finance themselves whenever operations are shut down. The survey also found that informal enterprises are 25% more likely to say that the pandemic is pushing them towards bankruptcy. All these data shows that as business support organizations, we have a key role to play. The reason for all of us coming together is to cooperate to create growth opportunities for companies, competitive advantage for a country, and help deliver economic, social, and environmental objectives. Businesses working together can reduce costs through shared procurement, create economies of scale, and access new opportunities by sharing knowledge and resources. As business support organizations, we all can benefit from each other's knowledge, convening power, and our credibility to represent micro and small businesses and make their needs known to policymakers and funders. In the last 18 months, the whole world shifted into digital platforms, and teleworking, remote learning, teleconferencing, online health services, e-commerce, and digital payments, all these taught us that digital facilities will no longer be optional. As we are opening to the new world that has been reshaped by the pandemic, we all have to adapt to the new normal, a new normal of building and fostering resilience, digital transformation, inclusiveness, and sustainability. On the 75th anniversary of the United Nations and 5th anniversary of the adoption of the SDGs or the 2030 Agenda, which includes 17 global goals and features 169 related targets that aim to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure prosperity for all, let us make a promise to ourselves. We all have come together today. Let us all work towards creating possibilities, a world where no one is left behind. As Nelson Mandela said, it always seems impossible until it is done. Let's together create the change we wish to see in this world. Thank you so much for joining us today. So on this auspicious day, we are proud to have India's #1 business news channel owned and operated by the Times Network, ETNow, as our media partner. As they salute India's SMEs and MSMEs and startups who showed resilience during the crisis, we are proud to join hands with them. Let us watch a short video.
Leaders of Tomorrow, India's longest and most definitive television platform for SMEs and startups. Pioneering and nurturing their dreams into reality and recognizing true leaders who fuel momentum. The Leaders of Tomorrow Awards and Conclave is back. To salute India's SMEs, MSMEs and startups across industries and sectors who not only survived but saw revival and thrived during the pandemic. Have you shown resilience during this crisis? Have you innovated against all odds? Nominate yourself and win the chance to be felicitated at Leaders of Tomorrow's illustrious awards. Register yourself now. Entries open. Presented by IDFC First Bank.
That is amazing work. Thank you so much for joining us and supporting us in this mission. I'm going to address us in this closing session along with other very special guests. But before that, let us watch the amazing video, the amazing work done by a media partner, India's #1 business news channel owned and operated by the Times Network, ETNow. They have been doing amazing work to salute and support India.
Leaders of Tomorrow, India's longest and most definitive television platform for SMEs and startups. Pioneering and nurturing their dreams into reality and recognizing true leaders who fuel momentum. The Leaders of Tomorrow Awards and Conclave is back. To salute India's SMEs, MSMEs and startups across industries and sectors who not only survived but saw revival and thrived during the pandemic. Have you shown resilience during this crisis? Have you innovated against all odds? Nominate yourself and win the chance to be felicitated at Leaders of Tomorrow's illustrious awards. Register yourself now. Entries open. Presented by IDFC First Bank.
I think that was just awesome. We are really grateful and thankful that you have included us also in this vision. Thank you so much for the support. So now let's move on to the closing remarks. As mentioned, we have very special people with us to give their views on this very special day. First, we have with us Ms. Namthanda Mupande, who is a social entrepreneur, a philanthropist, and an electrical engineering professional with more than 10 years of experience in senior management in South Africa's main utility. The founder and managing director of Hoki Holdings Private Limited, who is accredited internationally through WeConnect International and also a co-director of a number of businesses. She is accredited as a business advisor, independent non-executive board member, and founder of a non-profit company which focuses on automotive, technology, environmental, energy, industry-specific associations. Their main focus is inclusion matters and economic empowerment for people with disabilities. Over to you, Namthanda.
Wow, great. Thank you, Aparna, for introducing me. I must say it's been a wonderful day, very awesome speakers from across the world. All I can say is act local, think global, you're the next big thing. That's for me what it means today, listening to all the different wonderful speakers across the world, and also all our directors who today made this possible. And for me, what I captured today is that as entrepreneurs, we provide work to as many people more than the bigger corporates. And we are the engines of the economy. And this is amazing. We provide solutions and we provide them at the quickest time, even more than the corporates. So this is the time for everyone to collaborate. This is the time for SMMEs to find what they love and they go out for it and make it happen. And for us, we need to make sure that everything we do is inclusive. It includes people with disabilities, it includes youth, it includes women from the rural areas, it includes even all the smaller countries that are struggling, we shouldn't be looking for money only. We should also look at how do we enhance the growth together, growing and making this possible. Also, I want to say, if we want to help people, you can go and request from people who've done the work. Talk to them. They will support you as an entrepreneur. Like some of the speakers indicated, share the ideas. And the more you share, the more we build a better world for the entrepreneurs. So all in all, I commend all these entrepreneurs across the world. This is your day and the future belongs to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that wonderful speech. Next, we have with us another very special person who has been our strong pillar. Just a moment. Yes. Has been our strong pillar and backbone of GCPIT always, Dr. Mishma Stanislaus. Dr. Mishma is currently working as a research associate at Indian Institute of Science. Mishma started her career in renewable energy technologies at the Tsukuba University in Japan, where she completed both a master's and PhD. Alongside research, she attained varied understanding on global negotiation, policy and planning, climate change, and agriculture practices as part of her curriculum. Right after returning to her hometown, Bangalore, she got involved with an amazing initiative that helped local women entrepreneurs set up their businesses by helping them create websites and an online presence. She is the Chief Global Communication Officer for MSME and GCPIT. Mishma, over to you.
Thank you so much, Aparna ji, for the great introduction. And I would like to thank all the global leaders from 25 odd countries in joining us today in celebrating the World MSME Day. MSMEs are the backbone of our economy. And I know a lot of people have mentioned this, but I would like to reiterate what everyone already knows, that MSMEs make up over 90% of the firms and account for 70% of the total employment and 50% of the GDP world over. And having understood their significance in a sustainable world, the United Nations set aside a day to celebrate the MSME community. We may have been affected and fallen momentarily because of the pandemic, but when I see this plethora of global leaders from across the world who are doing so much to support the MSME community, I believe and trust that the MSME will grow again and continue to be the backbone. On this 4th World MSME Day, I would like to urge the MSMEs out there to learn from this chapter, and going forward, let us be more sustainable. Of the 1,000 companies surveyed from 8 countries across 4 continents, 70% have had to shut down their operations. So now, more than ever, we need to adopt sustainable practices, because as an individual, as an enterprise, or as a community, we can do so much to create a sustainable world. And over 600 million jobs has to be created by 2030. And I think only MSMEs can create these jobs. So as we are healing together, let us heal together, and also let's heal the planet in a sustainable manner, because sustainability is going to make us resilient, and resilient to the point that we can face whatever the universe throws at us, maybe a pandemic or even an alien invasion. And let us do together. So let us together be strong, be sustainable, and be resilient. I wish you all a very happy World MSME Day, and congratulations, leaders, on being the support system to the backbone of the world economy. And thank you for coming together to celebrate this wonderful day. Thank you so much. Over to you, Aparna.
Thank you so much, Mishma. Yes, now we have with us a very special person. He is a BTech MBA, Six Sigma, ITIL V3 verified, QMS and ISMS lead auditor, Salesforce lean management project and product management expert with 17 years of cross industries and domain experience. Founder, CEO, and partner of various profit and not-profit entities that were born with a vision of developing innovative ways to unlock the potential of SMEs globally. He loves to dig into customer problems and solve them with emerging technology. He creates, scales, and optimizes product portfolios that matter. To accomplish this, he focuses on key results, building amazing teams, and quickly adapting to new insights. He enjoys meeting new people and hearing new perspectives. Reach out if you want to talk to him about emerging tech, creating software products, services, go-to-market strategies, innovation, incubation, acceleration, company development, and product management, software as a service, SaaS. He's none other than the founder of Confederation of Indian Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, CMSME, GCPIT, Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade, and Global Council for Cluster Excellence and Research, GCCR, our global chairperson, Mr. Santosh Ganesh. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Aparna. And I would like to thank my team who have put their tireless effort to make this event a great success. And we have got all the leaders across the different parts of the world. We are really, really happy that we have got such a good family, and they are committed to transform the society, transform the way business happens, and transform the way we would like to live in a better world, right? So we have got Christina, we have Jana, who has been coordinating, we have Abir, we have various other leaders. Even I cannot even forget our Dr. Misma and Miss Aparna, right? So without them, I think we cannot even walk. So I really thank each one of our leaders who have been supporting in this particular journey. I think we had a great time, 10 days of celebration, right? Last 10 days, we have been, getting into different short-term meeting and to see to it that how we are going to celebrate this World MSME Day. It was a thought, I think 4 or 5 months back, we had a discussion that we would like to come up with something called Brand 10,000 SMEs, right? And Brand 10,000 SMEs is basically the concept that we created with a something and the background. What is that? It's basically that most of the micro, small, and medium enterprises, if you look into, they definitely don't have money to put into their advertisement thing and promote themselves. So we as a confederation, we as a global council, we thought that it is, if at all, if you would like to work for the SMEs, it is our duty to promote SMEs on the global platform. In order to promote them, we need to come up with something called a big project, which is called Brand 10,000 SMEs. So we have committed ourselves to empower 10,000 SMEs globally over next 5 years. And this year, we are almost ready because we could see 20 countries leader, 25 plus countries leaders has come together. And these 25 plus countries leaders, we are going to celebrate the next big thing is called Brand 10,000 SMEs Leadership Award. That is going to happen in the month of July 24. It's a follow-up event that we are going to do it. Because it's not that we just keep talking about that what is happening with the SMEs, but it is also basically, if at all they have done something good in the society, it is also our duty to recognize them so that by getting recognition, most of the other people will be able to come together and say that, okay, there is a possibility, there is a hope around us. So SMEs celebrations is going to happen in the month of July, and we are definitely going to rock once again with 1,000 SMEs across the world who will be awarded in the month of July. The next big thing that we are thinking of is basically that most of our global leaders have got a great thought. We don't want to do anything without sustainability. So sustainability is in our blood, in our thought, in our dream, in our anything that we do on a daily basis. We have committed ourselves that we would like to learn from the global leaders across the world and celebrate a global sustainability summit. So we are also coming up in the month of August, a global sustainability summit to reinforce the learning that we have over a period of last 1.5 years. And we would like to see what the future is shaping around and how our SMEs can get a good learning out of it and adopt and pivot from there, right? So that is the second thing that we are coming up. And the third big thing is coming up is basically that I'm going to share a PPT. Okay, good. I think many of our leaders have spoken various topics, but let me just get into little thing that I have been researching on, right? So we all have been talking about that we need to think of SMEs. The most important thing that we miss is basically that this pandemic has taught us to redesign, realign, right? We probably have to think of, we need to educate all our SMEs that the traditional way of doing business is not going to be valuable or viable anymore. We have to reconnect. We have to redesign the way business happens, right? Starting from the way you register your own organization, the way you set up your department, the way you employ your resources, the way you set up your product and services, or probably you innovate, right? Everything has to be redesigned. And more importantly, if you look into, if at all, if you're thinking of redesigning, the most and big thing as a confederation or the council, our responsibility is to connect each of the micro, small, and medium enterprises globally with the large corporate and corporations, to see to it that they are able to get some portion of the business that is happening into the big domain, and they get benefited. SMEs cannot go ahead and keep hunting the customer on day in, day out basis. It is our duty as a global council to establish a connection between the SMEs and the large corporate and corporations across the world. The second big thing that we also have to do is basically we have to own it, to see to it that how SMEs can supply a lot of components and product and services to the government, either in the local government or the regional government or the national government or the global government. We have to do this connect. Without this connect, I think we'll not be able to make, or we'll not be able to bounce back. We have lost a lot of connections. We have seen the business has pivoted, but it is our duty to understand, talk to the different government and give them some sort of pocket. See, if you look into the Indian government, they have already given a 20% of the procurement, whatever the government and PSUs does, they have to do the sourcing from the SMEs. I think this is particularly a good policy. This particular policy has to come up into all across the world, right? If at all the government sector is start purchasing 20% of their entire procurement for the micro, small, and medium enterprises, already a predefined set of business is already been allocated to the SMEs, right? That is what we need to think of. The second thing is basically also the government of India has done it, is basically they have also given in that 4 to 5% has to come from the women entrepreneurs. So it's not about the micro, small and medium enterprises. They also have told that out of this 20%, the 4 to 5% has to come from the women businesses, women-led businesses. So I think this is these two things that probably we have to think of, that how we can talk to different state government and local government and see how this type of policy can be made into operation. Now let's talk about the second big thing that I think. I had a great learning from the global various clusters, industry cluster that is present. I was going through a lot of literature, and I came to know that US is one of the continent region where they have almost 90% of the micro, small, and medium enterprises are part of industrial cluster. If at all, if you have to give them a power, if at all, if you are thinking that you have to give a powerful support or power to the SMEs, we need to bring all those SMEs under any one of the cluster. That we should bring them together to see to it that they learn together, they fail together, they grow together, they innovate together, and they merge together. So the cluster development approach, which is not so famous everywhere, I think US has taken a lot of advantage by putting all their micro, small, and medium enterprises. Almost 90% of the SMEs are part of an industry cluster. I think each of the country or the continent probably have to think of that how can we adopt this particular framework to see to it that we give more power to SMEs. And that is only possible when we bring a sector-specific cluster, we create a engineering cluster, manufacturing cluster, service cluster, which is most important, right? Now, the third big thing that I have is basically is another trend that is coming in. Most of the time, since we have post-COVID or during COVID, we have realized that most of our enterprises has to go virtual. Now, how a micro, small, and medium enterprises can gain benefit out of this virtual enterprise concept. Today, we are proud that Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade and its sister concern called Global Council for Cluster Excellence and Research has developed a framework called Global Virtual Industry Cluster. And during this particular innovation or research, we could understand that there is a already existing concept called virtual enterprises. And the virtual enterprises is very, very effective tool that each and every small, micro, small, and medium enterprises can make use of and gain the good of, second line of business. Let me just explain you how. Each and every SMEs or each and every startup that we have, or they have certain competency over a period of time. And what we are doing, we are not doing anything out of that. We are just doing the same traditional business. It is now the time we need to pack that particular expertise and sell that particular expertise that you have gained over a period of time and market that particular expertise in terms of consulting, in terms of services, in terms of innovation design, in terms of various other competencies that you have within your organization. And that is possible when you look into that what learning that you have. And each and every learning today, if you look into it, so many subject matter experts, so many leaders, so many management consultants has come all over the world. They are doing a lot of coaching program. They are doing the coaching program, but they have never had experience like you. Micro, small, and medium enterprises, today, they are sitting on a knowledge. They have done hard work and they have got a practical hands-on experience. They can convert that experience into a virtual consulting services, virtual enterprising modeling, and promote that particular competency, not only into the local market, regional market, national market, but also the global market. Because now each and every companies are looking for that, how they can source the best of the best mind at a best price. And that's where the SMEs can play a big role, because they can give the best resources at a lesser price. So that is the thing. And the second thing that we have to talk about, and the fourth, I think another thing that you have to talk about is basically the value chain. But before I go into the value chain, I also have to talk about something is called Geek Economy. Most of our micro, small, or medium enterprises and startups are not even realize the power of Geek Economy. They have not realized what is called freelance economy. We still believe that if at all we have to run our enterprise, we have to employ resources. No more. You have got a lot of freelance subject matter expert available at on-demand basis. Let's try to utilize all these on-demand resources and build your competency to trade outside the border. So we have to realize that we have to make use of Geek Economy or the freelance resources as part of your human resource framework. Whenever you are thinking of building up your enterprise, or whenever you are thinking of scaling further, scale as fast as possible with these particular gig resources or the freelance resources, because your cost to the company is less. You use them whenever you have got an order. You use their design services, use their consulting services, use their installation services. You can use their multiple services, because each and every resources are available on this gig domain or the freelance domain. Now let me talk about the value chain. We have been discussing so much thing about the SMEs. The most important thing that probably we have to re-engineer is basically that what value your organizations or your company is delivering in the ecosystem or into that particular industry. Each and every SMEs are probably linked to any XYZ sector or the industry vertical. And now many systems, due to this particular COVID, many systems have failed. The supply chain have failed. The vendor and supplier relationship, vendor, supplier, and the corporate and corporations relationship have failed because they could not supply it because the raw material was not available. So now it is the time for us to rethink once again, to see to it that how can we redesign our complete value that we are delivering to the customers or the segment that we are doing business for. Once we realize that what value that we can give and trade off, then we'll be able to think of whether we can do this particular value trading within the local region, within the national, and then think of going global, because each one of the countries are thinking of how to build resilience in local country, right? Local resilience they are talking about, because anytime the supply chain can get disrupted and the raw material or the finished good or semi-finished good or various other things will not be available. So each one of us are thinking of how can we go ahead and do build our competency within our country or the state or the region that we're looking for. And that is only one possible then when we start talking about different sector or SMEs or the group of SMEs and create a cluster and try to build a value competency within that particular cluster, which can be traded between another cluster or another country or another region. And then we can build not only the global value chain, but a local and national and regional value chain, because that is what will be giving the power to SMEs. So let me repeat once again that if at all, if you are thinking of giving the power to SMEs, it is not that money. We have to give lot many things. We need to bring them into the cluster or the group of entrepreneurs so that they can fail, they can learn, they can experience, and they can regain and co-create, collaborate, innovate, and various other things, right? So, and the most important is how they can utilize their expertise and trade off through a virtual enterprise. This is very important because that is the second line of business, right? Now, the last but not the least, which is basically very important, is basically in today's or post-pandemic or during pandemic, we have realized it's the innovation and the collaboration that is going to work. Innovation is not about the heavyweight innovation. We are looking for how can we come closer to your customer, and you can tweak, because there are so many free tools is available, and you can make use of all those free tools to see how you can come closer to your customer. How can you improve the success rate or probably the delivery efficiency? Let's say you're committed that you're going to deliver this thing within 7 days. How can you improve and see to that that product and services is getting delivered within 5 to 6 days, and you make the customer wow? And if at all, if you're talking about innovation, many big talk is going around. It's called innovation is only the future of innovation is nothing. It's called collaboration. And innovation and collaboration is the future of entrepreneurship. So we have to realize most of our entrepreneurs, and I could see not only in India, but across the world, most of our entrepreneurs are not interested to talk to unknown person, not interested to talk about what they are good at. If at all, if you're not talking what you are good at, what actually you are looking for, what help you need, you will not be, nobody will be knowing your pain and all those things, and they'll not come to you to help you, or probably they'll not come to you to sell or buy something from you. So it is basically that we, each and every SMEs have to practice how they can speak, get the 1 minute pitch, get the statement very clear that you have got this product, you are looking for a partner, say openly. You have got a community of social platforms where few crores of customers are there, B2C, and if at all if you're looking into B2B, probably you have got a LinkedIn as a professional network, and make use of those free network. We are not using our own free network, free resources that is available to us, and we are talking about that nothing is available. Right? We probably have to do more awareness program to sensitize what are the free resources is available and build that businesses around it. Today we have been talking about that we have to do digital transformations of SMEs. Why are you talking about digital transformation? Let's talk about that. How many SMEs are traceable? And the SMEs can be traceable if at all they have presence either into Google or in any of the search engine, and that is only possible when they have a website. And Google is giving a free website. We doesn't bother about having our own website. We are talking about networking. Google has got a very fantastic tool where you can do a co-innovation. If at all, if you are coming from the designing industry, you can make use of the Google platform, and there you will be able to do a co-designing. You can design something. If at all, if you're like a public PR or designing companies you are coming from. So there are so many open source tools is available. You should make use of all those resources. And we are committing as a Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade to make all these open source tool platform and install, and training will be providing to all the SMEs, whoever is reaching out to us, starting from the CRM, ERP, to your customer server and chat box and various other tools that can make you visible, that can make your customer happy, and then you'll be able to build a lot of collaborative and innovative platform, and you'll be able to maximize your returns and growth. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Santosh. That was an amazing session to end with. And we had a great celebration today. What more we need to end this day with, other than the dream of becoming a global brand, right? Now let us together work towards building our global brands, redesigning ourselves work towards building an inclusive and sustainable world. And let us not leave anyone behind. I don't want to say a formal word of thanks, but our heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of the speakers who accepted our invitation and joined us today and enlightened us with their sessions. A heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of our team members who worked on this global celebration, a huge success. We know it's not easy joining together from different time zones. It was really, really tough, but we made it possible. And our heartfelt gratitude to our media partner, ETNow, for supporting us in this session and also joining hands with us in all our forthcoming global programs. And our heartfelt gratitude to all of you, our dear audience, for being with us so patiently from around the globe, even though it is so late. I don't want to take any more of your time. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Let us make the dream of brand 10,000 SMEs from each country a reality. Thank you once again. This is Aparna G. Kumar, Global Co-Chairperson of GCPIT, signing off. Good night, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Stay safe. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
for all the
Goodbye.
hard work.
Bye-bye. Stay safe.
Well done in the 30 who stayed till the end.
Yes, thank you. Yes, great job. Great job.
Well done,
Thank
Aparna.
you. Thank you, Navdan.
Thank you
Rasu,
so much.
you. Thank you, Brian, for staying so long with us.
Thank you so much.
Dinesh, thank you.
Wow.
Thank
Yes,
you so much.
Rachel, we
It's
should have another
absolute
session.
wonderful.
Thank you, Dinesh. Thank you so
And
much for joining and staying so late.
So beautiful, so wonderful to see people from different places, different global, really globally fantastic.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Aparna. You're still smiling after 4 hours, so it's a great job.
It's
Thank
not
you,
4 hours, it's
Madhu.
almost 5 hours.
Yeah, still smiling
Yeah,
and
Santosh.
still energetic. So yeah,
Right?
take care.
I think we have got more power. I think we need more. We are not happy with this, right? So that's why we are coming to the rocking thing called global, this thing, what is called Brand 10,000 SMEs Award. So let's tune in for July program. Thank you.
Santosh, I must say you did excellent.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Good night.